was always complimented for the way I dressed up and the way I carried myself. But that doesn't make you decide your career choice. And the generation that I belong to, there were only 4 career choices, or 5 maybe. A doctor, a teacher, a pilot, engineer, and civil services. There's nothing beyond that. And my father wanted me to become a doctor because that was the most noble one for a daughter. So I opted for science with biology because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I didn't get through any of the medical exams. And as it might be, I didn't cross anything beyond the rat dissections in the laboratories. I was terrible at it. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to get into something creative, but really what? I don't know. Maybe advertising, maybe designing, maybe graphics. I gave entrance exams of certain fashion colleges. I didn't get to. I thought maybe I'm not destined to. I went on to do my advertising in Serials Bombay. Worked in the field of advertising for about a year and felt extremely suffocated because I felt I was really underutilized as a potential, but I didn't have any other formal degree to pursue anything else. So I thought, let me go and do my MBA and figure out, I'll probably get that sabbatical of 1 year education. So having worked and then I went for my education, it wasn't easy and I had to sign a contract with my father actually. So the contract said, "Gore se shaadi karke nahi aayegi." So I went to London, and the second one said that you will not settle abroad after you finish your education. You have to come back. I said, okay, done. This is simple. I just wanted to fill up that vacuum of management because I felt that vacuum. Not that I needed a validation, not that I wanted somebody to tell me what I have to do. I came back and I started this more as a business venture and I hired designers to work under me. Now in management, all of your management students, in management, Philip Kotler? Yeah? So in management they teach if your customer wants rotten apples, you give them rotten apples. Now that is something that just stuck in my mind. Try and understand the customer. Try and understand the customer's psychology. I wasn't a designer, but I would pretend to be a saleswoman at the store. Ma'am, can I help you? And we had this entire collection. So I had designers working for me and they had made this beautiful collection inspired by Oscars that particular year, where all the Hollywood actresses were wearing white. So we made an entire collection. We launched the brand with a collection which was inspired by shades of white. And I used to be at the store. Nobody knew me as a designer. I would dress up like a saleswoman. Ma'am, can I help you? Beta, ye acha bahut hai, but we can't take this. Can you make this in some other color? No, ma'am, this is Hollywood inspired. This is Oscar inspired. This is international focus. And I'm trying to tell them. Beta, शादी के पहले साल में ना हमारे यहाँ white नहीं देते. You know, when do we wear white? At the funeral or when somebody passes away. So I would come back and I would try to decondition the thought processes of my designer, which I failed miserably and we were not aligned. What was being taught in colleges, whatever that we learned, being creative, international focus, fashion, glamour, pitched, celebrities, none of that was working on the ground for me. I was following Philip Kotler. What my customer wants is the basic principle. I don't have to follow what anybody says because it's my customer who's going to pay me money. I started working around that and I realized that I need to get into the technical bit of it. I just can't purely strategize. So I started learning, designing on the ground. I can understand the Karigar language. I can understand the master language. I probably don't have the theoretical know-how of designing. I probably cannot talk that language, but I know how to get my work done. That's a different history that I'm teaching in all the colleges which rejected me. So I don't need a validation from any college to become a designer. And here on started my journey of failures and what I actually became. My foundation lies in every failure. Every business venture that I went into became a failure, and then it turned around to be a success somehow. I didn't plan it. But I think somewhere I was very convinced that I don't want a validation from somebody external. So we spoke about earlier that you want to be first, you want to prove a point. No. I still remember my first job interview. My boss asked me, Varija, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I don't know what the situation, what the life is going to be 5 years from now. I have absolutely no idea. I will see how life will come. But I definitely know that I'll be better than today. My tomorrow will be better than today. My experiences will lead me to what I want to be. And I will not die in regret. I still have that dream, and I don't know if you visualize your last day. Do you? Does anybody visualize how they're going to die, their obituary? Do you? When I will die, my parents will cry. Who will cry? Who will not cry? My last day visualization is on the deathbed, but I have a smile on my face that I've lived it. And that is what I'm living for every day. I have to live it. So that's my journey of fashion. So I didn't come from a typical background of fashion designing. So my thought process was understanding the human psychology and rendering that creatively into my creations. And then one thought struck me that if I can design for people who can speak, that is you and me, then I can probably also design for people who cannot speak. I'm talking 15 years ago. So since it's about understanding somebody's need without they actually asking for it. So the customer comes, you might be a Punjabi, you might be a Marwari, you might be a Jain, you might be a Banya. More often than not, we don't ask you all those details, but we gauge. It is being very, so the job of a fashion designer is to be extremely observant. So we're extremely observant about what your needs are. What is your educational background? What are the kind of people who will attend your wedding? What is your circle? What is the level of exposure you've had in fashion? Now those are the things that we try to gauge as a fashion designer. So I thought, let me utilize this for people who cannot speak. So these are specially abled people. So I started doing little studies, started volunteering myself, going to special schools and interacting with autistic kids, kids who had ADHD, kids who had Down syndrome, kids who were on the wheelchair the entire day. जो इंसान पूरा दिन व्हीलचेयर पे बैठा है उसको कैसे कपड़े पहनने चाहिए? कौन बताएगा? Doctors? Who decides the clothing for persons with disabilities in our country? Caretaker. Is he an expert? He's not an expert. So I faced an experience where I was going to the special school where the uniform was red in color and it had very high level of content of polyester. Typically the uniforms that you and me wear. Why high level of polyester? Because you have two uniforms which you wash through the entire week and you wear, and they're much easy to maintain and stain free and all of that. Now this child had extreme ADHD. Can anybody tell me what ADHD is? Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder. So certain kids have this tendency of being hyperactive. You're a hyperactive child and you're made to wear a color red. Any common sense here? What does color red do to you? It energizes you even more. So this child used to be absolutely okay at home, but the moment he would enter the school, he would start throwing around the furniture. He would start beating up the staff. He would start beating up other kids. And what would teachers tell them? The child needs therapy. Please take him to the doctor. Therapy meant calming his nerves, giving him sleeping medication. What was the problem? Uniform. Who was deciding the uniform? The caretaker and the school authorities. there was this another girl who had a perpetual habit of taking off her clothes. Why? Nobody knew, but everybody was embarrassed to be around her. She just wanted to take off her clothes. The parents didn't want to take her out. The problem was, she was an autistic girl who had extremely sensitive skin. She could not speak. She could not express. And she would want to get rid of what was irritating her. That was her way of expression. पर आपने और हमने उनको क्या बोला? पागल हैं. Right? So that is something that struck me 15 years ago. I went back to the school authorities and I told them, this is the problem. You need to change this. These are the basic observations that I have made as a fresher. But I think there is something seriously wrong here. There is no study really done on this subject. When I went to the school authorities, they said, don't tell us. We know our job well. You're a newbie. You are here to give your voluntary time. Good enough. But beyond that, don't cross your line. I also thought, none of my business. I'm not an NGO. I'm not a government organization. I'm not somebody who has loads of money, because I was still in the process of establishing my career. So I said, okay, I don't care. If they don't care, why should I care? I went on to establishing my career, but I think somewhere this sort of lingered on. I'll come back to the story later. About 6 years ago, we thought, during Diwali, you were supposed to do some gifting. Everybody exchanged gifts around Diwali. So we thought we'll give something personalized. But now we have men to be given and women, although we are completely into women's clothing. What should we give? I said, okay, let's make some cushions. They're much easier. Let's make some customized cushions and we will gift it to our clients. We made about 200 cushions. It was no additional investment because we were in clothing. Making cushions was much easier. Let's gift these to our clients. But what do we say? Why are we making these cushions? Okay, let's say we've launched a home furnishing line by Varija Bajaj. And you're the first privileged ones to get. So we wrote a nice note and we thought we'll be done with it. We made about 200 cushions. We got an order of about 2,000 cushions. People loved it. I said, wow, very nice, and we want them more. I said, okay, fine. This seems like an exciting business idea. Let's just take this online or do something about it. We didn't know anything about interiors and architecture. So we made those cushions, but we knew a lot about bridal exhibitions. Has anybody here attended bridal exhibitions, wedding exhibitions that happen in hotels in Delhi?
No, not at all.
Not at all? I must invite you for one. And you must come. And you will be surprised that it is not just about bridals, it is about a lot many other things. So like you, I also thought it is just about bridal exhibitions. And I had my cushions displayed there. There was this client who came who said, you can make cushions, can you also make beddings? I said, banaya nahi hai, but there's no rocket science. I mean, you can stitch and you can make the bed sheets. So we did the bedding. Somebody came and they said, can you do the curtains for us? I said, kiya nahi hai, but apne ghar mein bhi karte hain. We can definitely do it. There's no rocket science. The third person came, she said, I want to get the bedding made for my daughter's room. I said, I would like to come to your house and see your daughter's room and then design accordingly. She was overwhelmed that the designer wants to come to my house and design the bedding. I went to her house. I said, where's the bed? She said, that we have to get designed. Can you help us getting that design? I said, kiya nahi hai, but koi rocket science nahi hai. We can, get the carpenter and, we can do something really creative and out of the box. So we did the furniture. She loved the whole bed and the whole concept we had put together. She said, can you do our drawing room? So we said, kiya nahi hai, but koi rocket science nahi hai. So I was stepping out of her house and I said, aapka ye kuch toot raha hai yahan pe, the parapet is falling. Don't you think you should get that repaired rather than beautifying your house? I said, actually you are right. Do you think you can help us do that? I said, kiya nahi hai, पर कोई rocket science नहीं है. Of course, this was not just beautification. This was hardcore architectural and engineering work. So we had to get engineers and architects on board to sort of get that done. She loved that. She said, while you're doing the repair, can you think you can change the elevation of the house? It's been 30 years, we haven't done the exteriors of our house. Can you do the terrace garden? And the next project came. हमारे पास प्लॉट खाली है, आप 4 मंजिल घर बना सकते हैं. And that's where the journey of Varija Bajaj began. First client happened, thought must be a fool. Just coming purely on our brand that we built for last 15 years on quality and ethics. Yes, I have a goodwill in the market. Yes, our brand has a goodwill in the market. But why is somebody getting construction done from a fashion designer? Pagal hoga. The next one happened. So in fact, we didn't hire any staff to service our first 2-3 clients because I was in disbelief that these people are actually coming to us for our ethics, for our quality, for our honesty. Because हर बार हमने बोला किया नहीं है. We made it very clear. We still make it very clear. It is not possible that we will not make mistakes. We are absolutely human. We are dealing with humans. We will make mistakes, but rest assured, no mistake will be intentional. That is something that people want from us, our honesty. And that was Varija Homes. The journey of Varija Home happened there. Now having done, settled in career, established the brands, all in auto modes, well achieved, something that lingered on my mind. Clothing for persons with disabilities. Because that is something 15 years ago, somebody told me, don't tell us our business. It is like Paresh is standing here and I'm standing here. And Paresh is taking 5 steps back. And I know he's going to fall down because that's the end of the stage. What will I do? Even if I don't know Paresh, I met him for the first time today. What will I do or what will you do? You'll shout, you'll stop him because you know that it's going to hurt him. I'm exactly in the same space. I have the knowledge, I have the know-how. I know there is something seriously going wrong there. It is not my business. I'm not an NGO. I'm not a government organization. I don't have loads of money. And no, it doesn't affect me personally. Nobody in my family is personally affected or is physically or mentally disabled that I am very emotional about it. But I know that there is something wrong that is happening. So what I started doing was, I started approaching the colleges. So I teach in about 30-35 fashion colleges. So I said, let me utilize this platform to bring about the change. So I approached International Polytechnic for Women, was one of the first colleges I approached. I said, let's introduce this as a module. Because I also decide their curriculum sometime and I suggest them on their curriculums. I said, Varija, brilliant idea, लेकिन हमारे बच्चों को पता नहीं disability होता क्या है. तो आप पहले उन्हें वो सिखा दो. Autism क्या होता है, ADHD क्या होता है, what is Down syndrome, they don't understand this. Clothing is secondary, we'll take care of the clothing. And also our faculty doesn't know what are these disabilities. So how will you help us there? Now I'm not a technical person, I can talk about clothing, I can't talk about all this. I said, let me do one thing, let me get technical people on board. So I started getting psychologists, psychiatrists, people working in the area of disability to conduct seminars for the students. So first 2 hours we would conduct a seminar, following that I would leave them with the project of clothing for persons with disability. When I touched upon that, I realized that it's not just the clothing need. Do you even know that today about 15 to 20% population in India falls in the category of disabled? In UK, 1 out of 4 people are in the category of disabled. Tomorrow, all of you will be disabled. We are the youngest generation today in India. Tomorrow, we will be the oldest generation. we will be the oldest nation. We are all heading towards old age disability. Are we even prepared for it? Not really. And nobody's even looking at that aspect. We were living in joint families, we are living in nuclear families. Maybe in places like Delhi, you still have house helps. You still interact with neighbors. Go to Bombay. One bike comes in the morning and that's about it. What if one of your parents dies earlier than the other one? What if one of your parents has Alzheimer's and he's staying alone and you and your wife have gone out to work? Who's going to take care of your parent? Are there enough old age homes? I'm not saying old age homes in terms of you not taking care of your parents. Let's have a category of 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star old age homes. They need to be taken care of properly. But nobody is looking in that direction. Why can't films be made in this subject? Tare Zameen Pe changed the entire... Everybody knows what dyslexia is. Tare Zameen Pe changed the entire world. Every mother today is paranoid about Mera bacha ulta likh raha hai. That's what the film did. Why can't the communication industry do something about it? We talk about sign languages. Deaf and dumb people, they use sign languages to communicate, right? To be included in the mainstream society, to communicate with us. पर आप में से कितने लोगों को यहाँ sign language आती है? किसी को आती है sign language यहाँ पे? So even if they are learning sign language, how does that help? They are still not included in the mainstream society. We have yoga classes, we have dance classes, we have music classes, we have moral science classes in school. It takes only 10 classes to learn sign language. Why can't it be compulsory in all schools? Such a large segment of the society will be included. Tomorrow you will not think twice before hiring somebody who is deaf or dumb. So that is my mission today. It is no more limited to clothing. I was rejected by a school. My suggestions were rejected by a school on their reforms. But I've taken a humongous mission onto myself. Accessibility, clothing. Today there are 30 colleges across India. Pro bono, no money taken, no money given. 30 colleges, fashion colleges, and this is happening first time in the world. They're doing a research on clothing for persons with disabilities. That's my mission. I don't want a validation from a fashion college. I don't want a validation from an engineering college. I don't want a validation from a management college. And I don't want to be better than somebody else. You have your destiny charted out. I respect you for that. I have no competition. I think that is the worst that an education system can do to us. Give us grades. An A grade and B grade is student. Care a damn. You are yourself best critique is what you have to be. Be yourself best critique. Are you better than what you were yesterday? Is this life worth living? I don't want to top. The moment I say I want to top, I'm competing against you. Maybe your standard is also not what is worth it. Raise your bar, raise your standards, be your own best competition. I think that's what has helped me. I'm not prescribing anything to anyone. Everybody has their own ways of life. But this is what has helped me. And be brutally curious. Brutally curious about what is happening around you, what is happening in the world, not just in the field of management, not just in the field of media or anything. It has to be a very holistic learning. If I may ask all of you, how many of you are on LinkedIn? How many of you are on Facebook? How many of you are on Snapchat? How many of you are on TikTok? Why not? Why are you not on TikTok? Or you don't want to tell that you want to be on TikTok? I mean, this generation not being on TikTok is unbelievable. Again. How many of you are on TikTok? It's coming like that. Why not? It is so important. Do you know how TikTok is evolving and what it is? I'm not here to prescribe TikTok or any social media, but to see what is working. The brands are figuring out how to break themselves from the old age ad agencies have died, the old age forms of media planning have died, and the new age social media has. Do you know that as a brand, we were a bridal brand? Now the clothing that people used to buy for 70,000 rupees for their first cousin's wedding has come down to 6,000 rupees. Why? You wear the outfit, you dress up well, do your makeup, make a selfie, post it on Instagram, you can't repeat the outfit again. How does it matter that it was a pure Banarsi, zari border sari? How does it matter whether it was your first cousin's wedding or a distant friend's wedding? All it matters is that one photograph that goes up on social media. So you don't want to spend 70,000 rupees because now you want to wear too many outfits and you don't want to repeat those outfits. Understanding the psychology. So why are we not on TikTok? Please be. I am not. I'm just there as a silent observer, so don't try to follow me there. But be brutally curious about what is happening, what is changing. Because a lot of it, what you're learning today, trust me, 10 years down the line, you will be unlearning yourself. So happy unlearning. Don't follow the tit-tats. Don't aim for validations. Don't look for competition. You're your best competition. Thank you.